Hello, my friend. This is Heather from Prosperity Flow Coaching. Welcome. This is the Build a Better Business series, and that must mean that it's Wednesday. Now, we are up to episode 48, I believe this is going to be sent out on. Wow, time is flying. These videos come out every Wednesday, and they are designed to have helpful information for you to really get your business to a place where you are working on your business, you are enjoying your business is paying your bills, and it's fulfilling. It feels like a fabulous thing to have your own business instead of a chore. So that's why I call it the Build a Better Business series. If you find anything in here interesting, please give me some comments. I'd love to hear from you. You could also hey, why not subscribe? And if there's someone that you know that you think could benefit, share it with them. I would love to have this shared around to help as many people as possible. So this week I am talking, it's the end of January, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about taxes. So I did a couple of episodes last year in February on taxes, and it seems to be a pretty hot topic. I've been talking with some massage therapists specifically lately on some things. I'm doing some market research and things that they have challenges with, and the tax man always seems to come up. And I do understand it can seem like a very mysterious thing. It can seem scary because when you don't understand something, it feels scary, right? So I'll start off by saying specifically I'm going to speak to Canadian taxes because I'm in Canada and that's the ones that I know the best. So for those of you who have just tuned in, you can go back and watch some of the other videos to find out some of my background. But just briefly, I spent 15 years, the first 15 years of my career as a CPA, chartered accountant. It was what it was called back then. And I spent a lot of time in a lot of different companies, watching small businesses, medium businesses, big businesses, how they operated, where they focused their energy, where they focused their time, how they were successful, how they sometimes weren't successful. And I spent the end of my career, I was in a large corporation. I was a senior director in a large retail corporation, and I decided that I wasn't happy, I wasn't fulfilled, and I left. Wow, yeah, I left. And I opened my own yoga studio. So now I've been teaching yoga for 17 years. And I had my own yoga studio for 10, and in there I also became a registered massage therapist. So where I am, that means I went back to school for 2 years and went to a very intense program, which was amazing. I loved it. And being a massage therapist and running my own business has been super amazing. I feel like that part of me has been fulfilled, the need to get out there and help people. And now I'm translating that help into coaching, because while I was out there, there's a lot of health and fitness professionals who they only do their financial information at tax time. And it feels overwhelming, and it feels scary, and it feels like if you make a mistake, you'll get into trouble. And here's the thing. So one, the information that you prepare for the tax man should not be the only time you prepare your financial information, because the information for taxes is not the best for decision making. It doesn't tell you the things that would help you most for your business. But I'll get into that later. And I understand, you're afraid you're going to make a mistake. And speaking with someone recently, this is what I said to them. I said, because a lot of people I speak to are afraid of the tax man. But this is what you have to remember. They're just people. They're just people who are doing their job. They're not out to get you specifically. They're not out to catch you. Granted, there might be some who have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, but for the most part, of all the tax people that I've talked to in CRA and Revenue Canada, they're just trying to be helpful. They're just trying to get their jobs done. They're trying to tick their boxes, right? So if you keep in mind that they're real people, that might help. And they don't want you to make a mistake. They want to help you. So if you have questions, when I have questions, I just phone and ask questions. I can't always get the answer that I'm looking for because I don't always know exactly what I'm asking. It takes some time to get to it, but for the most part, you can get help from the people and also the website if you know what you're searching for. But here's the thing, talking about taxes. I know it's tax day, Heather. Come on, let's go. So I have created a download for you. It's a free download. You do have to go through a website to grab onto it, but I mean, it's free. You can just put in your name and email and download your PDF. And it's going to give you it's going to give you some guidelines on how to get yourself organized. So things to think about on how to get organized. So where to gather your information, what information you might want to gather, how you might want to get it structured. It's going to give you some information on the different things that you might need to file depending on your business. So if you are a sole proprietor with no employees, you don't need to file T4s or T4As. And if you don't know what those are, don't worry. I'll let you know what those are. If you do hire people, you need to file returns that reports the income for those people. And if you've been holding deductions back, you need to make sure that you report that and that you've been submitting those deductions, hopefully. And if you realize that you've been paying people and you don't know how you've been paying them, you might want to just have a quick chat with a professional or even Revenue Canada. I've done that where I've phoned and talked to them on behalf of other people who had been paying staff and hadn't told the government yet. They're understanding. I mean, you might pay a few penalties, but it's not as bad as you think it is. So there's T4s. Those have to be filed. Generally, it's by the 28th of March. And the employees need their slips in hand. But I think February 28th is a Sunday, so it'll be March the 1st this year. And those need to be filled out properly and sent to the government. And if you owe any money, you have to submit it then, right? Depending on so the next thing, check. The next thing is the HST and or GST, which is why I'm speaking specifically to Canadians, because Americans might not know what that is. So if you are not registered, let me just start with this. If you are not registered for the HST, then you don't have to file a return, obviously. But here's the thing. You need to keep track of when you hit the threshold of the HST. So the HST for a regular business, you are legally required, I'm going to use HST and GST interchangeably. You are legally required to register for the HST when you hit $30,000 in income. And that's not employment income. That's not income where someone's holding withholdings from you where you're an employee, but it is your worldwide income. So if you earn income, say, I don't know, I'm just going to throw something out there, like you sell a digital course and you happen to sell to a lot of Americans, that's still your income. You're still in Canada. That's still part of your worldwide income. Or if a U.S. company pays you, as long as they're not holding deductions or something, it's some kind of contract. So it's a rolling 12 months. Now you can count it by quarters, track it by quarters, but it's not a calendar year. So often people wait until the end of the year to do their calculations and they say, oh gosh, I hit the threshold, I guess I have to register for the HST. But what if I took like December of 2019 to November 30th, it's a bad example, 2020, I know, but just stick with me. It's a rolling year. So it's not January to December. It could be, September to August. If I hit the 30,000 threshold in that 12-month period, I should register for the HST, which is why you need to stay, part of the reason, there's many reasons, part of the reason you want to stay on top of how you're doing financially. Because if you did get to the end of the year and go, oh gosh, I made $50,000, guess I should register for the HST, and then the government actually looked, they would not be happy if you spent, 6 months when you should have been registered for the HST and you were not. And they could come back and penalize you for that if they ever pick up on that. So it's just good to stay on top of that. Also, if you are registered for the HST, I would ask you, are you registered for the quick method? And I won't get into tons of details about it because it's a bit of an explanation about how HST works and everything. I think I did a video on that back last March, February, so you can go back and check it out. But it's to your benefit to use the quick method. Now I am going to pop back for one moment. I just thought of this, speaking about the T4s. If you have employees, for this year, there's a special new report that you have to do, a special new boxes on your T4s. So this has to do with the emergency response benefit. So now you have to be able to split out of your reporting of how much you paid your employee, how much you paid your employee during those benefit periods. Those, the first ones, the CERB, CERB, that took place from March to June, yes, something like that. Before they bought it, so the first part of the CERB period, the first when they were giving $2,000 a month. And at that time, by the way, they weren't taking tax deductions off of that $2,000 a month. So if you were getting the emergency response benefit and you were getting the $2,000, know that part of that was taxes. And you should have, hopefully, you took a piece of that and put it to the side. I mean, I understand if it had to pay the rent, but just knowing going into this tax season that any amounts that you collected, any emergency response benefit you collected is taxable. Yes, my friend, I know. So we have our T4s, we have our HST return, income tax return, right? That's kind of the one that people are always the most stressed about, even though there's other things to file. The income tax return is the one people get stressed about. So this is when you need to be organized. You need to gather all of your revenue from all of your sources. You need to gather all of your business-related expenses. So all expenses that were incurred in the course of earning revenue is pretty much what it says in the Income Tax Act. And people will try to push that envelope, you know, and this is where sometimes you hear the horror stories of people who, you know, they have this big, huge tax deduction. These big tax bills come in because they tried to claim their wife and going to Florida and hanging out on the beach. Not really incurred for the purpose of earning income, right? So if you travel to take a course, or you travel for something specific, but not that we can travel right now, but I'm just using it as an example because that's one where people often will try to push the envelope of what's acceptable. If you take a vacation, that's not tax deductible. If you go somewhere to take a course that's a specific course related to your business that's going to help you earn more money, you can probably deduct part of that. You can at least deduct the tuition. You can probably deduct part of the travel expenses, if not all of them. Depends on the trip and it depends on the course. So think about that. So you want to gather all of your income. You want it to be organized. You need to gather all of your expenses. Do you operate a home office? Legitimately, not just a room that you pile up stuff in. Like, do you legitimately need an office in your home to do some of your administration work? And is that the sole purpose of that office? If it's not the sole purpose, it doesn't mean you can't claim some of the expenses of your home, but you need to be aware that you can't just claim it. And because you have a small business, you can't just say, yeah, I have a small business, therefore I have a home office, I'm going to claim all these expenses. And I mean, there's also your car. Do you actually legitimately need it to do your job? And that does not include driving to and from work. Right, check. So we have our T4s, which is our reports for our employees. We have our HST return. We have our income tax return. But the checklist has even more great stuff on it for you. So, my friend, I welcome you to come and download the list. I promise not to share your email with anyone because I hate spam probably more than you do. Also, if you want more, if you really want to figure out how to get on top of that information so you know what's going on in your business, so your financial information isn't just for your tax man, and so it's not taking all of your time, you don't have to take off 4 or 5 weeks to figure out your taxes, then join the Money Confidence Collective. The doors are open. We launch on February the 15th. I'm only accepting 10 people, and it's going to help you specifically. So I am doing a general class once a week, and then we're meeting together as a group to help you specifically figure out how to best structure your personal books, your personal finances, your personal processes in your business, so that you always have the information you need, you know how to get it, and you know, the biggest part is also knowing what it's telling you. So I would love to see you inside the Money Confidence Collective. It's in the same place as your download. You can just click around and check the description. I'll also put a link in the bottom. I'll put a link in the bottom to get your free download. I'll put a link in the bottom for you to check out information about the Money Confidence Collective. I would love to see you inside. I'm Heather. I'm the owner of Prosperity Flow Coaching. This is the Build a Better Business series. I hope that you found some of this information useful. If you have any questions, pop me a message in the comment box. If you know someone who could use this information, please share it with them. I would want to help as many people as I can with this. I hope you have a safe and happy week. Take care, and I will see you soon.